Since the league gonna last for like 1 month more, I decided to do one more final update to my Stormweaver build. This one is definitely gonna be for some investment, but it's probably like the most insane version of it, even though I'm so far with the items myself, but it's around 2 mil DPS for now. My current gear is like easily reaching 2 mil plus DPS, but what you should get is what you can get basically. So if you cannot get the best corruptions, best amulets, just try to somehow balance it out so you have what you really need. And what you really need is 100 spirit. Blink is quality of life. Custom shock, I mean, if you have everything else but the spirit, you don't really need it, trust me. So the mobilities will be in the description with 3 options there for the budget, advanced and the final build. And 1 item set of like gym items. So first of all, our required spirit is only 100 now. I just decided that it's way easier to make the build, and self-casting lightning conduit is just as effective as having it in custom shock, if not better. Only if you want some more quality of life, you can go for the 60 spirit to get blink. And you wonder what I mean with the fact that lightning conduit being self-casted is better? Well, you simply can fully debuff the boss, and we could save this one passive point that we used to use before, the endless circuit, to get something else. And that's how it looks like when it's self-casted. This is the footage from my stream, 6-man party zeshed, +4. Works every single time without a fail. And just look how broken this build is, just look at how much damage we get out of the Eye of the Winter, which is only there to debuff, before we even get to do the main thing. Funny part is that the game kept removing voltaic mark from my bars, and I didn't even realize that I'm not using my 100% shock from provided by the voltaic mark to kill him instantly. But here's a good show of how good this build is. I just swapped to arc to show you how much damage this build does with anything. Mind you, my arc is only linked for 4 support gems, I don't have the 5th one. So you can just count yourself how many arcs it took to take that boss down. So let's slowly go over the skills. For our weapons set 2, we get the Sigil of Power with 40 more effect on AoE, 200 more stun threshold cause why not, and ingenuity for the cooldown recovery. Unless you have that 60 extra spirit, then you put that shit on blink. For spark and our overall main skill, cause if you wanna use arc you can use arc, we just would swap the pierce and acceleration on arc for chain. And I honestly don't know, cause I only have 4 support slots on my arc, so you're free to think about it, you can put inspiration or whatever, but let's just focus on the spark. So arcane tempo, considered casting, lightning mastery, acceleration and pierce. And remember, pierce is probably one of the best DPS increases for spark overall, cause it will hit the boss several times, then it will hit several mobs in one cast from one single projectile, instead one projectile hitting one mob. It's one of the best possible support gems if you don't have any other source of pierce. An Orb of Storms, one of the best damage increases for us, and the main point of it is to debuff. That's why we have overcharge, conduction, overabundance, lightning exposure and strip away. This makes it last only 5 seconds. So right before you can hit a boss, you just put like 2 of them, and whenever you cast a spark, will also discharge Orb of Storm times 2. So that's a 600k plus 719k DPS without any buff being like used at once. And on top of that, Orb of Storm is gonna discharge itself, so it's insane to put it twice. I also very often use it on mobs in case I get stunned. Those 2 can do the job meanwhile. And I just walk, replace them, cast, walk. But I mostly like put 1, yeah? Unless it's like ritual or something, but mostly put 1. It's insane adds to overall like clear, puts chains. You get randomly stun locked, well, this can take care of the problem for you. And remember, you really wanted to shock, and you really wanted to put all the debuffs, the stronger shock, so having 2 of them is just perfect for that. And our big bot one-shotter, lightning conduit, we have hourglass, cause we don't care about the cooldown, we only get to press it once and the boss is done, like you saw. Now we have rising tempest, well, lightning itself counts for it. Then we have the Eye of the Winter, the tooltips are bugged, so it does not update sadly. And inevitable critical, but most of the time the super critical really, like the way it works, 60 to 48, it's not like an actual 20% on your gear or passives, so I usually swap it for the lightning mastery when I get to the boss. And I also have like +2 prism of belief on lightning conduit, so that's what I put when I wanna kill boss. But normally on 100, when I reach the 100, I will have 1 more jewel slot than I have right now. And that would be either spark for mobs or lightning conduit +3 for the bosses. And the spark one is, yeah, if I have a 600-700 divines to spend on it. And the last one is of course elemental focus, cause this can't apply any elemental ailments anyway, it only consumes the shock to increase its damage. And soul offering and skeletal clerics, we have them 3 on the offhand. They appear when we have the offhand, so that's usually when we press Sigil of Power, to be fair, and then they appear. Then we press the soul offering to get insane damage increase. We have also binded our curse to it, and then we swap the weapon. So what's important is to have 3 only on the weapon set 2 and use this off of weapon set 2, because we have some skill duration passives for it, which we will go over very soon, and that's very important. This and conductivity. We don't have anything on Archmage unless we have like extra 10 spirit, then we can put the mana regen, but that's all we need, trust me. And on conductivity we of course have effect of supported curses increase, ritualistic curse, cursed ground, spell echo, and burning inscriptions. Spell echo is only to instantly replace, and that gives us the burning inscription, which is ignite. And I will tell you a bit later on during the passive section why do we have this. And voltaic mark, and so many of you ask me always what super gems. Doesn't matter, they are just like whenever I swap something I have them here instead of looking for my stash. But if you really want to know effect, infusion, tempo, ice bite, you can just pause to check them out. What's important though is to have it on level 7, because then it only requires 52 dex, one more than it requires to equip our warrior, and we need to quality it. The quality is the most important thing on this outside of it being level 7. And Eye of the Winter, we don't need to quality it, we don't need to do shit with it, we don't even need the full link, I just had too much currency at that time. So, well, the most important above all other, what is must have is Unleash. This is whatever, this is whatever. But what is important is Unleash, then maybe Wild Shards and Scattershot, and if you also have too much currency, you can put the Glaciate and Frost Nexus, but those two are really irrelevant. And remember this because it's really important. We don't use this on map, we don't use Voltaic Mark on map. It's not needed, like even on the boss. Like if you're remotely close to my level of gear, you don't need to press that ever on a map. You don't need the Curse. You only need Orb of Storm to be ever casted and Spark. Like meanwhile, when you walk from pack to pack, you can swap weapon, get the buff up, cause it stays. And the best thing about having it on offhand, whenever we swap to it, the mobs instantly res, we can rebuff it, and then we swap. Just remember you can't really like get the buff insta and then ASAP change the weapon, cause the buff will not like apply, but as you see it didn't refresh. So, but it's a cheat if you have it on an offhand, that's all I wanna say. And for gear, as we play Chaos Inoculation, we only use Mana Flask, so we don't need any like HP Flask. This will charge faster if you don't have the HP Flask. Helmet, the way I got this helmet is I bought like a random one for like 50 exalteds, like 100 max, couple of them. I upgrade them and I tried to corrupt them for 2 sockets, and that applies to the gloves and to the boots as well. Just trying to get them with 35 movement. Just less stats. All that was on these boots was mana, int and movement speed, and I got them for like 2 divines. The boots with 35, expensive. So when I saw the fire res, I was already happy. Fuck everything else. I just boom, I got double socket. Was just perfect for me. As you can see, they are very far from like insane boots, but it is what it is. I wanted 2 sockets and semi-decent boots. But now, you know, the problem is, if you see, you can get easily 30 cold on your boots. And look on my cold. That would be beautiful, huh? But you can also see my mana and my intelligence. They are both very high. Why? Because I was focusing on every item I could to get intelligence. Strength, you can translate from the amulet to intelligence. I just recently, very recently, I delayed the video to get this. I got this. You can translate strength to intelligence because we need some strength to equip warrior. And this is very important, so we can like swap. Before I was using passive points to get the strength required, so now I could swap them back to intelligence. So that's straight up intelligence on my ring, on the other ring, dexterity, which also translates to intelligence because, well, you also need dexterity for warrior. And well, I managed to get intelligence nearly on every item, and of course you can say double it from the rings because of the ingenuity finally going 90 for me after so many I wasted for corruption. Well, that allowed me, and as I prepared before, to use this kind of warrior, which is 5 mana, 5 attributes, and on top of that I got this with spaghettification on, which is another 7%, but spaghettification is also within the range of my Against Darkness time lost, which is another 4% intelligence. This is a dream, so Megalomaniac is what would provide it, but since I don't have infinite budget, my Megalomaniac only has Moment of Truth, which is semi-decent, not the worst shit, not the useless shit on Megalomaniac, and has Polymath, which is very important to all the small attribute stack I do for my intelligence. And you always have to remember that intelligence is also mana and is also damage, a lot of damage. But outside of trying to get intelligence on every slot, if you want to follow the attribute stack, you need to follow to get spell ranks on every slot you can. Everywhere you can get some crit damage, some crit chance, depending on the item slot. And for amulet it goes like this. I think it's perfect outside of the numbers of the implicit, but you know, budget, like I don't have infinite currency, like you might have think, but trust me, I paid so much more for this than you can imagine. I don't even want to explain. But that was 150 divines listed, and that's what I will leave you with. That was one divine. I bought it very early when I think people honestly thought crit is garbage or something. Because one divine, now it's impossible to buy anything close to this. So just focus on get some mana, some damage, some intelligence perhaps, and 2 level of all spell skills. 3 level of spell skills amulet, that's 5 together, and another 5 from our wand, which you need some lightning damage slash spell damage slash extra lightning. It's important that it's extra lightning since most of our damage increases towards that lightning, and 5 to all lightning spell skills, really important, and this is also what makes those ones giga expensive. But we can get some crit hit chance here, some crit spell damage, we can get intelligence if you cannot, just get the best possible one, as close to this one as possible, and you're gonna be fine. But you can get +1 to all lightning spell skills corruption, and that would be like a dream. +1 to all skills on amulet as well, but this amulet would probably be like 5 mirrors instantly if I corrupted it for +1 to skills. I truly believe, like I would not pair with it, fuck it, I would keep it. And the gloves are just some mana, some ES, just focus on getting pure ES so you always get the max ES, some mana, some intelligence, and some resistances. Most of the resistances you should offload on your rings. Have fat mana, lightning damage on like 20%, and all elemental resistances preferred, some intelligence, and same goes for the other one. And of course, as high as possible ingenuity, because doubling those rings is just... it can go really crazy. As you can see, those rings are pretty nasty. They are not the best, of course, as that as it is, but yeah, doubling them makes them pretty crazy. But you might ask, why no Dreamfrag? Like you gambled it like 2 or 3 times. Well, cause I love the divine orbs out of them. That's why. I wanted currency. Why do I need Dreamfrag? I have 9.1k mana, nearly 9.2. I'm gonna have way more once I'm done leveling, and I already want up everything. Would Dreamfrag be a gain? Probably now when I finish the build and I have all the mana possible. The more flat mana, the better it will be. Before when I tried it, it was a DPS lose. Mana gain, but DPS lose. And I have all elemental on both rings. What am I gonna change? I really don't wanna fuck around with fixing resistances, it's enough that I have to fix cold. But in the end, once you're all done with items, this is probably the best ring you can have. And for all of you Dreamfrags lovers, I will put it into my mobalytics as the one of the rings, because it's probably the one of the best rings. But well, it will cost you tenfold to have resistances fixed on every item instead of just trying to corrupt semi-decent one to get 2 sockets. So it's all up to you. But well, if I would corrupt this ring for an example, +10 to all resistances corruption, well, Dreamfrag would be an option at the moment. But for now, I don't really want that much damage increase. I mean that little that it will give me, and I would have to fuck around with the resistances. I would have the cold, but I wouldn't have fire and lightning, so just look how much I drop with the resistances. I'm really fine like having this setup for now. And once you reach like 4.5k, 5k mana, that it's safe to swap to like only mana build. This, I insist, I cannot like repeat it enough times. This is one of the biggest, best possible upgrades to the build, both for damage, for survival. You can be frozen, stunned, you can press your flask nonetheless. Like this is just such a fucking changer to the game. You just cannot skip it. This should be one of the prioritized items. The ultimate mana flask, bro, just get it. Trust me, prioritize it, get it. You have 5k mana plus, get this shit. It changes too much. And for our passive, starting with the Ascendancy, we of course go for Force of Will, Scouring Winds, and Strike Twice. Why these? Because these are best. This is just straight up increased effect of Arcane Surge, aka Mana Regen, and cast speed. And this is second shock, like what else to explain? Even more damage, and that's damage taken, so that is just scaling insanely well. This is so godly because it adds to the base effect of your exposure. So instead counting all the increases from 20, we count it from 40%, which is just mandatory. And you might have seen people using Elemental Storm, and I tried it. I tried it with Temporalis. I tried it with so many setups. This is just trash. Whoever tells you that it's good, that he wants to use it because he likes it, he just cannot accept the fact that this fun looking ability is just beyond trash. Don't use it. It's trash, garbage, piece of useless ability. It gives you no, like, I try, like, you play Archmage, you play Temporalis, you're gonna be from this shit. Just don't use it. And also, about the gear, as you saw before, there is not a single cast speed on my gear. Why? Because cast speed sucks. We have so much for having shitload of mana. I have nearly 3 casts per second with literally no cast speed on gear. If you have cast speed on gear, you just fake influencing your DPS here to have like better feeling about your damage. It gives you no damage. You want cast speed items, you're gonna pay 10 times more than in other items, first of all. Second of all, look how much 3% cast speed gives me DPS. You think I will ever feel this? No, there is no way. This is so much DPS for 3% of a stat. Bro, this is the only reason it's so expensive, because of the tooltip. Do not use cast speed, we already have too much. What you should use is 1-time spark, walk a couple steps and use it again. Like 2 casts per second is enough, 3 is just so much more than you need. And for the rest of the passives, green is for weapon set 2, red is for weapon set 1, and we just grab this, but we go here, in the middle we're gonna split, but for now, Mana Blessing we grab here, we grab for the weapon set 2 some increases to duration and curse. We're gonna drop down here because it's a good slot for us for Time Lost Diamond. We're gonna grab Spaghettification only on Anoint / Megalomaniac. We're not gonna ever path to it unless we have Resonance on Whispers, I mean from Nothing Diamond, but I have the Whispers instead, so I mean Resonance is so much more expensive than this, and this is probably one of the best picks alongside this. So, well, I would say against Resonance unless you have infinite currency, but then nothing really matters. And we're gonna pick everything here for the maximum mana, and we're gonna pick this because we're already 1 point away, and that's just some extra damage for 1 point, so why not? CI, of course, we grab the offside crit hit chance here, we're gonna grab similar one here, alongside very important Wildstorm. We don't use Endless Circuit anymore. We're gonna drop down here for Jewel, and one more time for Jewel, and Science Frazzled is so good, and what paths to it? 15 magnitude, 15 magnitude, 15 magnitude, and Frazzled. Don't anoint it. You have so much more magnitude in front of it, and a Jewel slot, and that's just 5 intelligence, and then you path to it. Very good to just go down here, grab all of the Jewel slots, and enjoy. But once we're done with this, we just go back here. We should honestly start first here, then drop down. So we're gonna go to Pure Power. Why we don't use Controlled Metamorphosis or something? Because we lose 0 value. We have From Nothing Diamond for Whispers. So we grab this, because it's 14% lightning damage and 8% cast speed. So for those of you who love the cast speed so much, here's some cast speed for you. And to look closely, we don't check this for weapon set 2, only this. It's very important, only those 3 we don't check, but it's also for weapon set 2. We get the ingenuity, because why not, but it's not that important if you don't want to attribute stack. We grab the controlling magic, 25 critical hit chance for spells. We don't grab those below. Well, Whispers of Doom from Nothing Diamond. And this, because like compared to Frazzled, the magnitude of shock you inflict 25 here, what you get before? Chance to shock. Chance to shock scales with the, chance to shock, but you have more chance to shock if you do disgusting damage. So as you could see on you can rewatch the Zest attempts, my Eye of the Winter is strong enough to shock on its own. That's how much damage it gets from Archmage. As you can see, this is a cold skill, yeah? But is it really? With Archmage it becomes lightning skill, I swear. Look at the amount of cold damage it does. Like the total is added those two. But look the cold part and look the lightning part. Yeah, this is the power of Archmage. But what we're gonna use the controlled metamorphosis diamond for is definitely all of this. And what we need for it is large ring. Overexposure plus this, what we get? 74 debuff. Very, very important because our conductivity with our passives, it's just, you just need to get, where is my conductivity? Level 30, boom, 39 removed, plus 95, 76. 74 from exposure, minus 150 together. Very beautiful. And we also grab Stormbreaker, 50 increased damage for each type of elemental ailment on enemy, which is also the reason we have Spell Eco and Burning Inscription, because this starts when the curse ends, and this ends the first cast instantly. So just perfect combo, we get Ignite. Simple. And on top of that we have 2 shocks, we can electrocute, we chill with Eye of the Winter, we can just have most of that shit, and that's like 15% damage for each. So compared for this, just some increase if you have one. This is 15 per all of your debuffs, so shock alone is just 15 and 15 because we have 2. Then like, I mean, it's so godly. You have Ignite, you have Chill because Eye of the Winter that debuffs, Ignite because of the conductivity. We can shock with literally everything. We can electrocute if you just put some, like, you can put the super gem on your Eye of the Winter, honestly, with the electrocution. But I don't know if it's gonna be enough to stun a boss on +4 6-man, but you could. So you could put it somewhere else. You could even put it on Lightning Conduit, but it's like just a minor upgrade. What is important is the main Freeze. Freeze, honestly, chill more like important because chill is actually there always. The moment we press Eye of the Winter, it doesn't matter how much chill, it matters it's there. We have Ignite from the Curse, Shock double because Ascendancy, and that's already enough damage gain from one node, but we also can grab Eldritch Will with it. We also grab this because it's 15-15 for both crit hit chance and crit spell damage, and before I had those 2 nodes, so double 10 crit hit chance for 2 passives versus 15-15 for 1, obvious winner. And here, for all you cast speed lovers, 16 crit hit chance and 8 cast speed if we dealt crit hit recently, and well, we just spam damage, so you can consider that all the time. And here is a cluster that's very important to look at my mobilitics, because once we full level, we're gonna puff here to get the jewel and drop down here, 1, 2, and storm charged, and we're gonna go here, here, boom, here, and breaking point, we're gonna drop this point. It's just all min max for like max level on my mobilitics, so depending what level you are, you just can put temporarily passives or stuff like this, but the final product is on the mobilitics. And that would pretty much conclude it. We just grab jewels wherever we can, we just save on mana regens not needed if you have the mana flask, of course, the ultimate one. And well, the passives mainly, they're gonna be fully on mobilitics, so that's where you should go and check. But I try to explain you plus minus what's up. Like here we have 2 points to increase the curse to 95 for that 76. We have those, remember, for weapon set 2, weapon set 2, weapon set 2 again for the crit. This is also weapon set 2, so we can like fit all of the points. Literally, this is also weapon set 2 just to fit the points. And we drop down the weapon set 2 here for the skill effect duration. And I don't know if I said weapon set 2 or 1 for the red, but the red is weapon set 1. So that's how we roll in. You can go and check my mobilitics to make sure how to set it all up. So you liked my guide before that buffed had less DPS than me standing right now. So I guess you will love this one as well. And if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to come chill on my stream whenever I stream. Come ask me whatever you want. You can also subscribe to make sure you see all my content for PoE2 and Warframe, because I love those 2 games a lot. And you can also join my memberships if you want to support me. But I really insist you to come over stream to see how the build looks like. I'm trying to stream every day, and you can always ask those questions. And again, I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave that like, comment, share, subscribe, and as always, see you on the next one.